Guys, and welcome back to my YouTube show, Ruben's History Show. Today I'm going to talk about the two and the last Flavian emperors of Rome from 79 AD all the way to 96 AD under the rules of Titus and Domitian. So Titus was the emperor of Rome from 79 AD all the way to 81 AD when he died at the age of 41. And his brother took over as the emperor of Rome following his brother's death, his older brother's death, on September 13th, 81 AD. And he held that position for just 15 years, from 81 AD to 96 AD when he died, when he was assassinated. And then the Nerva Antona dynasty was established. So now I'm going to talk about the biography of Titus and who he was before he became the emperor of Rome. So Titus was born on December 30th, 39 AD in the city of Rome, which was the capital of the Roman Empire. But now it's present day Italy, or the Republic of Italy, which is located in Europe. I'll show you guys here. Which is located there. So it's located in Italy there. So he was born in Rome, and the Roman Empire, but now it's Italy. So and according to Suetonius, who was a Roman historian, said that the house that Titus lived in was a museum, according to Suetonius, who was a Roman historian, and who also wrote the book known as the 12 Caesars, which is about the emperors of Rome, from Julius Caesar all the way to Domitian. He had one brother, Domitian, who was born in 51 AD, and he was the second brother. He was the younger brother because Titus was born in 39 AD, so he was the older brother of the parents. And he had a sister named Domitilla the younger, who was born in 45 AD and died in 66 AD. So, yeah, those were his siblings. And also Titus's great grandfather, Titus Sabinus Petrov fought in the Battle of Pharsalus, which was thought between Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great, who were two Roman generals at the time, or two Roman military commanders, in the city of Pharsalus, which is located in Greece today, present-day Greece. And also his great grandfather, Titus Flavius Petrov, was also a debt collector. And Titus he served as a military tribune in Germany from 57 AD all the way to 59 AD. So he held that position for just 2 years as the military tribune in Germania, which is present-day Germany. So, and also in 60 AD, he arrived in Britain because he was elected the military tribune in Britain in 60 AD, and he held that position for just 1 year. So he served as a military tribune in Germany from 57 AD all the way to 59 AD under the rule of Nero, who was the Roman emperor at the time, and he held the military tribune while he was in Britain in 60 to 61 AD under the rule of Nero at the time. And also, following his return from those areas, Titus returned to Rome so he could practice law and become a lawyer. That's why he returned to Rome. That's why. And also, when he returned to Rome, Titus also got married to Arenica Turtella, who was his wife from 62 AD all the way to 65 AD. So he was married for 3 years, and he got married to another wife, who was Marica Florilla. Florilla, that was his wife's name. So she was married to him for 63 to 65 AD. So because that was when he got divorced. He got divorced to her at that time. And during that time there was the Roman Jewish war that was going on in Israel, or Judea today. And then the Roman forces started moving north into Judea at the time, and also the capital of the capital of Judea, or which is present day Israel, they had the capital, which was known as Jerusalem, which is the capital of Israel today. And it was a fortified city. It had a lot of guards in the city, and a lot of weapons there, and it was very fortified. It was strengthened in that city. And the Romans had to find a way so they can go get to the city and capture Jerusalem and bring it under Roman control. So, and then also Josephus also was a Roman Jewish historian. He also wrote a book about the Jewish history when he was alive at the time. And then the siege of Jerusalem began in the summer of 79 AD under the rule of Titus, and it lasted for 140 days in the year 70 AD. And then 1 million Jewish people were killed in the siege of Jerusalem in the summer of 70 AD. That lasted for 140 days in the city of Jerusalem, which is located in present-day Israel. So a lot of people were killed in the Roman Jewish war. A lot of people were killed, and the Josephus surrendered when the Romans came into Jerusalem. He surrendered to the Romans at that time. And so a year later, in 71 AD, Titus returned to Rome to celebrate a triumvirate with his father, Vespasian, who was the emperor of Rome at the time. And Titus was granted tribunician power for 5 years, which was a position in the Roman Empire. And also a year later, in 72 AD, he was appointed consul with his father as a colleague. So he was also consul of Rome, his father, at the time. And so on June 24th, 79 AD, Titus's father died of an illness while he was in Campona, while he was there, but before he got sick, he spent most of his time in Rome, in the city of Rome, which is located in Italy today. So he spent most of his rule there. Vespasian spent most of his rule in Rome at the time, but then in 79 AD he died on June 24th, 79 AD. He died at the age of 69 at the time when he died. So, but then Titus was appointed the emperor of Rome following his father's death at the age of 39. So he was the emperor when he became emperor when he was at the age of 39 at the time. And also during his rule on August 24th, 79 AD, it was a huge eruption in the Mount Vespasius, which was a huge eruption. It was a volcano that erupted, and it destroyed most of those cities in Rome. And it was over 10,000 thermal energy stronger than the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombing in 1945 when we dropped the 2 nukes on Japan. It had the thermal energy and the eruption and the Mount Vesuvius. It was stronger. The thermal energy was stronger than the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. And tens of thousands of Roman people were killed in the fire. And I forget and I'm trying to remember that guy's name, that he said that he who witnessed the eruption. I think it was Philip the Younger. He witnessed the eruption, the volcano eruption in the city of Rome. And also, Titus died on September 13th, 81 AD, before he turned 42 years old. And so his brother was appointed as the I forgot one more detail I missed in the Titus as emperor. Also, a year after that eruption took place in Rome, a fire took place in Rome in 80 AD after the eruption at Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. So a fire took place in the city, and it was all the city of Rome was reconstructed. And so on September 13th, 81 AD, Titus died before he turned 42 years old. So Domitian was appointed the new emperor of Rome after his brother's death on September 13th, 81 AD, at the age of 41, before he turned 42. So Domitian was born on October 24th, 51 AD. So he was the second son of Vespasian and Domitian the Younger. He was born on October 24th, 51 AD at the time. He was born in Rome. And Domitian, when hiding because of Vitellius' Holocaust, because a lot of people were being killed under Vitellius, who was the emperor of Rome after the death of Otho, who was the emperor of Rome from the time when Galba died in January 15th, 96 AD, all the way to April 16th, 69 AD. So he escaped the Holocaust under Vitellius, and Vitellius was later killed on December 22nd, 69 AD, when Vespasian returned to Rome, when Vitellius was killed in the building of Jupiter, which was a building that was burned under the rule of Sulla, which happened 100 years before Vitellius died. So in 70 AD, Domitian was appointed the praetor 6 times under Vespasian, and he was appointed 2 times as praetor under his brother's rule and under Domitian. And during Domitian's rule in 82 AD, a war broke out in the Rhine frontier. What these tribes were fighting in the Rhine frontier. And then a fire took place in the Rome during Titus's rule in 9 AD, and Domitian rebuilt the city of Rome when he was emperor of Rome. So like his father Vespasian and his brother Titus, Domitian held numerous consulships during his rule because he was elected many times as consul. And then a revolt broke out in Germany, in Upper Germany, when in 98 and 89 AD under Lucas Antonius Saturnus, who was the commander of Upper Germany at the time. And he was killed because Domitian ordered his death, and a lot of people were being exiled and killed under the rule of Titus, under the rule of Domitian, who was the emperor of Rome following the death of his brother on September 13th, 81 AD. So a lot of people were killed and exiled under Domitian's rule. And then in 85 AD, Domitian was appointed censor for life, which was a position in the Roman and the ancient Rome. But then on September 18th, 96 AD, Domitian was assassinated in Rome at the age of 44 by Roman conspirators who killed him in the city of Rome. So following the death of Domitian, Nerva took power as the new emperor of Rome on September 18th, 96 AD, and he held that position all the way to his death on January 27th, 98 AD. And so his son would succeed his father as the Roman emperor, and he held that position for 19 years, from 98 AD all the way to 117 AD. And he would also bring Armenia under his control, and he would fight the Parthians in the battlefield, Trajan. And he was one of my favorite emperors, and I'm going to talk about that in my future videos, why he is and what good things he did for the Roman people. And I'm going to talk about Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, Antonius Pius, and the other emperors of Rome, or also known as the good five emperors of Rome, and who also established the Nerva Antona dynasty. So following the death of Domitian, it brought an end to the Flavian dynasty because Domitian did not have a successor. He didn't have any kids. So it brought an end to the rule of Domitian. So, yep, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to talk about, in my next videos, I'm going to talk about Nerva, Trajan, and Hadrian, and the other emperors, and I'll see you guys there. And I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.